knowing what you know now, what are some of the things that you're like, okay, starting priority pumping, here's two things I'm not going to do. What were those two things you're not going to repeat?
First thing, I'm not running a 24/7 business. And I know a lot of times when people get into the home service industry, they're like, oh, we got to run 24/7 because we got to be available all the time. I was never going to do that to my team again. And as a single mom starting this over again with two small children, I wasn't doing that to myself because success to me is something that I can build and be continuously creative in and never want to have to say, I'm retiring. I'm sick of this pace of life. I want to continue to build something, and you can't build your own prison. And that's really what we did in that first
Mm.
business. We were 24/7. The phones rang all the time. I was on the phones. I held on to, and the second thing with that is that I held on to what I had created and started far too long before I hired somebody to come in and help me. It was one of the very first things I did with this business is hired somebody to come into the office and train them what I knew how to do so that I wasn't being held up with the phones or being held hostage to being at customer service all the time. I had entrusted that in someone I had trained myself. And I've never had to really get through that growing pain like I did for years that kind of limited us in the first business.